Namaste. Welcome back to another episode. Am I Sanket? And today we will be discussing the new Metaverse or Meta. Mark Zuckerberg's little dream and concoction, and
Not a dream anymore, is it?
our very near dystopian future, it looks like.
When you first mentioned it on the walk.
Mm.
Hello, everyone. I feel like I should say that now. Over 10 videos. I feel like people watch it regularly. Like, oh, hello. It's a regular thing. Hello. I was like, nah, that can't be a real thing. Because you mentioned it, and I was like, what, like a whole place where everyone... And then I watched the video.
Is that what it is?
Sorry?
Is that what it is?
What? Oh, so you don't know what it is?
Well, I just
Did you watch the video that he explained it?
Yeah, the one video.
Yeah. I watched the one.
Yeah.
It's like he basically wants everyone, to be able to... So, if our friend was not able to be here, they were in Sydney, they can put on their VR headset, would call us through Skype, or Messenger or something, and they could hologram themselves in the back.
Yeah, right.
Not like through... We'd have to have the headsets on as well.
Yeah, well, yeah,
It'll be
right.
like a
So
drop
it's
line.
like this world that we end up being
doing
in.
Sims.
Yeah.
It kind of, I don't know if it's a basic way to use it, but it's kind of like a really updated version of Sims, where everyone's living... You're at your home, but you put the glasses on and you're suddenly in like literally a different world.
I think that's scary to me.
And
that's why I mentioned it, because
it
it seems like those, old movies that you would, or books that you would talk about, like, this is a dystopia. And to me, it's just a yuck, scary feeling I get. I'm like,
weird, isn't it?
Is this what we're doing now? We just put on our headsets and that's
very Black
now
Mirror like.
And how are we?
I wasn't shocked though. I don't know if were you shocked when you saw it?
I wasn't shocked per se, but I was shocked in the sense of there's no effects of it afterward. People are like, what the hell is going on? How is this what we're doing?
Well, I assume people would have mentioned that. They won't have that in the video where they show people, right?
No, but I don't hear too much people being like, oh, what a horrible idea.
I actually haven't actually talked to anyone about it apart from you. Oh, but it's not really big news with anyone yet.
Oh, I don't know. But
I feel like it dropped and then it didn't really get that much.
It's just,
I
think for me...
I'm not shocked though.
For me, I feel like, technology, amazing, and, it's helped us out so much. And then, social media, amazing to a certain extent.
This is what we want to talk about,
and,
right?
We're slowly getting to the point where it's like, do we
need it?
Keep trying to progress? Like, can we not be okay with this is the amount that we have and it's doing its job?
Nope.
And that's all we really need.
Money.
And you go back, stop this video, go back to the... Anyway, but...
I'll put it in. I'll do that thing. So I got really excited.
But isn't that so are we just going to keep going until we're literally like space species and living up? Like, when are we going to stop?
Because the real world is dying slowly, right? With climate change, everything else, wars, whatever the World War III will be eventually, World War IV, it'll get fucked up anyway. So it's easier for people to live in this dystopian world, put on the glasses.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Well, I can imagine you could be like, you could change your appearance, you could change your house, you could change
literally. I think
everything.
It's a bit. The video was a bit confusing. So it's like, okay, did you see that poker part? That's when I really understood what that was.
Poker part.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm going to play poker with some friends. Oh, but they're all in different countries.
Right, I saw little clips of that.
Yeah, so you put on the headset and everyone avatar enters this room where everyone's just playing poker like they're in that room. I'm like, okay, I can see how that will be kind of cool. Like you said, social media, technology, it works to a point where it's like, the whole point of it started with connecting with people you couldn't reach, right? And then it's like a monster. It just took off into Then they started putting those political influences in. It's like, this is terrible. Misinformation starts coming in.
Well, there was a time of my life where, I have one mate, Geordie, who really hated Instagram. Shout out Geordie. He hated Instagram.
So did I.
It was maybe a couple of years ago where I loved Instagram and social media, and I was saying, it's helping us stay connected. It's
of course.
I don't see some friends for maybe months, maybe years, but I am up to date with them. I might maybe message them back and forth. I might see their stories. I know what's going on.
And
so we're still staying connected. And I was really trying to tell them, I'm like, it's so good in that sense.
Which is huge.
But then he was in that kind of thinking of it's really bad for well-being, etc., etc.
Oh, he was ahead.
But I think even outside of the well-being point, like you're saying, it's just an avenue for so much bad
It's like with
potential,
everything in the world, right? There's a good idea comes along, and then it just gets taken and ruined and just horrible.
I wonder how that happened. What led Facebook to be a place to connect with your friends end up being such a powerful monster, and advertising and couldn't be
Put a
capitalism.
little picture of someone and mark.
Couldn't be capitalism, could it?
It was. This bird's trying to kill us, but it was. Do you remember when Facebook? We were the only probably that generation where we used social media, right? But we knew what it was before. Do you remember what it was before any social media came out? Do you have the recollection? Because it didn't come out till what, year 8? 2008?
No, it was a bit. I think
Facebook, I mean.
Yeah,
MySpace,
Facebook,
but
no,
I didn't use
think
MySpace.
Facebook came out in year 7 or 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember because everyone was on Bebo and MySpace before.
Oh, and what's that? MSN.
MSN.
MSN was our
That
fun.
was the thing.
That was
because
fun.
then before MySpace, it was MSN.
Yeah. And it was like safe because it's like you don't have any video. It's literally
safe for that time because you could only really add the people you knew.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It was
yeah.
very safe. It's probably the most private, secure messaging we had, right? So I was wondering because the people, like we mentioned in the previous video up there, better get that right. The kids born nowadays have been born into a world where as soon as they're like 3 months or whatever, they're being filmed.
Yeah, for
right.
Sure,
so they grew up with people really care what I do on a phone.
That's such an interesting.
We're getting into a lot.
No,
of
but that's such an interesting point because you said that.
it's-
I think you said that during the Dave Chappelle episode, or maybe we just talked about it where, or even Dave Chappelle said, I can't remember, but
he does say
where he said, it's not a real place.
Yeah,
like,
he said
switch
that,
it off, yada yada yada. But that's from us and our hindsight and understanding that this didn't used to be a thing. There's like
it's not a
for
real
the
thing.
younger people, like you say, they're born, and you can give a kid an iPhone, and they literally can swipe. They know how to use it. They're not even one. They can't talk, and
it's programmed. That's
and so
their
that
life.
is their world. That is their life.
Social media is not a part of their life. It's this is I was born with this. This makes sense.
This is just,
That example you gave. I remember this because that's a scary one. We were laughing at the time, but we went to like a nephew's or a niece's house, and they're using the iPad or something, and they're like using it, like I said, 2-3 years old, and then their parents took it away. They're like, "Oh, iPad time's done, whatever." One of the few parents were like, "No, we'll put a time on it," and they just gave like a magazine, and I saw in the magazine the kid was just doing,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, "Oh crap! Of course." Then that really scared me at the time. We all laughed. I was like, "Oh, that's cute. It's funny."
But they're actually like, because mum looks after kids, so like we see.
you would know, actually, yeah.
But like, and then also like, because I guess my role, I kind of go to families and stuff, and so
Exactly.
like you literally see kids like I'm not even making this as a statement to make a statement. There's like kids 6 months probably, and
Pretty impressive.
they can navigate a phone to like literally boop 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 on the camera, and they're like,
Well, they
playing
know what
with
they're
it.
doing.
They know
At
what
6
they're doing.
months.
6 months and one, they know what they're doing. It's crazy. And I guess that's even a side point to show that, again,
Sorry, it's just,
the education stuff. It's like the way things are structured. It's so stunting. Like we have so much potential. Like a 1-year-old can figure out an app without anyone teaching them. We
But
have so
something
much
else-
potential, but
That's
we're
a
just
good
in this
what,
system of
what
like.
is it that we only use 10% of our brains on it?
I mean, that's don't worry about that statement. That's not real.
Is that not real?
That's a buzzword type thing.
Well, but the point is, we're not using our full potential, are we?
Well, I don't think we are. Just in that colloquial kind of antidote sense, like.
Well, if you can teach a 1-year-old to play on the iPhone, you can teach him to go out.
Well,
should be able to teach him at 6 how to balance a checkbook. In terms of like,
yeah.
like I'm saying, like
But I
real
think-
life shit that matters.
But I think it's
We're talking about social media, sorry, but it's
but it's
it's a monster.
and
That's a good
that
way.
comes into it where it's like when we talk about snowflakes and turn off social media and it's not real,
It's
but
not.
it is real.
Well, it's hard for my.
And now it's become even more real with the Meta Facebook thing, where it's like that will be life, where you might not even get this shit off. Like you're just in it.
This is what I'm thinking.
Like-
you can probably sleep with it on, and it'll be like, oh, we're
Probably.
tracked your sleep, and you can sleep with. I mean, it'll probably get perverted soon enough. Where it's like you can sleep with that person you were sexting
Oh yeah,
virtually, put
like,
them in the bed together.
but that's what I mean. Like we're getting to a place where it's a bit scary.
It's Black Mirror-esque. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've seen like 1 or 2 episodes.
It was literally an episode that I was watching the Mark Zuckerberg video going, oh my god, he's taking this from the Black Mirror episode. Where it was literally like people walking around with their phones, right? And they don't talk to each other, but they look and they see how they've greeted them. Like, hi, how are you?
Yeah,
and they
right,
give them
right.
like a 8 out of 10.
Yeah, right. That's the one episode I actually saw. Yeah.
And at that time I was like, oh my god, this is terrifying. So that's why, and then I was like, well, TV, movies, there is some sort of like future thing in them, right? It's like all this kind of shit they talk about. And now you see here, it's like, I wasn't shocked, but I'm scared. And I'm really glad. I wanted to mention this in the video. I'm really glad that I'll probably be dead before that metaverse thing takes off fully.
Do you reckon?
I fucking
Things,
hope
the
so.
way things are progressing and the speed.
But in terms of me, like, I don't think I'll be using it as much as...
Oh, yeah. I mean, but that's...
Like, the whole point of it is for work, right?
Well, then I guess if we...
Starting off with.
If we, I guess, then put Meta to the side and we just kind of focus on social media, because that's happening right now.
That's what started it.
Like, what are your, I guess, general thoughts on social media right now?
Oh, well, given that I've... wanting to work in that field, like my passions, and used correctly, it's wonderful, and that's why it started. It's to help firstly grow your brand, that yoga studio that we talked about ages ago. Word of mouth is, hey, I got a yoga studio, can you mention it to Paul on Saturday when you see him at tennis or something? Versus I can start an Instagram thing, so account for my phone in my room on the toilet. I can start all this awareness, I can build it. Sometimes, yeah, you put a little bit of money if you're like a bigger business, but basically it's free, and you can start this for free. It's an amazing tool when done correctly.
It's funny that you've contextualized that to like work and like marketing, and I guess that's because that's where your like background is. But like,
yeah, so that's that's my that's what I imagine. So apart from the friends thing we mentioned,
yeah, of course, yeah.
That's what I look at social media, because I want to work. And then I had an interview yesterday. They were like, what do you think about social media? What are the good trends? And I made a comment about the work-related field.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, it was, it was about the work-related field, and I mentioned because that's I see like I notice like I use social media obviously, but I'm not using it all the time, and I know what it is. Like if you really get into it, you may as well just live in that world, which Meta might able you to do. Be like, man, my life is really shitty right now. I'm just gonna put on my VR headset.
Bro, but see, I don't understand Meta completely, because you can still put on a VR headset and do different things already.
No,
like
this is completely different.
But I saw a TikTok, and I guess that's social media, because we'll have a talk about TikTok later. But
yeah,
I was on TikTok.
I'm not on that shit.
And this was like maybe 6 months ago, and that's before Meta came out, and I'm like, what the hell? But there was this dude, and it was like, why would I choose to live in this room with this TV? And it was kind of showing his little room, and then he's like, when I could do this, and he showed his like VR, like he put his camera there, and it was like this whole like, big TV, like whole setup.
Of course.
And I'm like, but why? That's not real. That's like, what? And he was kind of showing as like, see, look how cool my VR setup is, but it's like, what?
It's a genuine state of thinking that will be there soon. It's laziness. It's a wanting to. There's basically what I think social media is turning into and has turned into. It's like it's a shortcut for happiness.
It's a dopamine.
It's that, yeah, that's the word.
100%.
That's the effect, right?
100%.
And so now, with the Meta thing, it's much worse. It's literally that, but on a 24/7 scale where you don't have to. I mean, I fear for future relationships, parenting, everything because of this shit.
Well,
and I don't know how expensive it's going to be.
Well,
it's going to be affordable.
we talked about last time about Marxism and capitalism and
yeah.
And I think by the time this, I imagine, would really be happening, I would hope that there's some sort of revolution that would revolt against
Meta,
the Mark Zuckerbergs and the.
Not in that time. No.
I think we're at late capitalism where we're opening our eyes and
Really?
understanding.
Then why would they have introduced this form of?
Well, it's when people have money, who's going to say no? Who's going to do like, you think about, for example, Bezos, Amazon dude. And now like him and Richard Branson, whatever, like tickets and flights to space and whatever, like what in the hell? Why? And we talk about like people are literally starving and all this is happening, and we're like, oh, but let's rich people fly into space. That will be amazing, won't it?
Yeah.
And it's like,
because, and also like want to say, because people get sick of that. You know, they've had a shitty day. They don't want to hear about people dying. Look at the news, man. Look at 9 News, Channel 10, Channel 7. Then look at SBS. So the three of them are very similar. Horrible death, tragedy in Giza today, and this strip. Anyway, there's this really cute puppy. Let's watch this for 25 minutes. Watch SBS News. It's literally death, problems here, death, problems here. What are the ratings like? Horrible, but that's real news, right? People don't want to be, and most people, they work very hard. Like you said, they might not even enjoy their jobs, right? Had a shitty day. They don't want to come back and be like, oh, let's turn on and see what's happening in Egypt. People who are from Egypt living somewhere else be like, oh, of course, we're minority.
I guess ignorance is bliss.
Absolutely, that's the thing, and that's why
Ignorance
this meta
is
thing
bliss.
is going to work.
But
And why social media is getting bigger.
And I think that's an issue, though, because ignorance is
Of course
bliss.
it's an issue.
No, but ignorance is bliss, but I don't think it's okay to be ignorant.
No.
I think if you're cognizant
easier.
of the things that are happening, I don't think it's okay to be like, I'm just going to...
Yeah.
It's
Which is
too
why
hard.
I stopped watching the news years ago, because I knew all of it was just a bunch of... Like now, you know the project, right? That's like, what, an hour long? So you have the news for an hour, then you have the project for an hour, and that's 2 hours literally in the best prime time viewing.
Well, the
It's
project's
news.
not really news.
But
it's
the whole
funny that
tagline's news delivered differently, right?
I'm going to take like a bit of a
Detour.
turn here.
Go for it.
Just because you kind of touched on it in terms of like, you know, the news and what's happening and because we're talking about social media right now, what are your thoughts on that phenomena where people, you know, post on the story for 24 hours as like advocacy, like, hey, let's fix the planet, or hey, Black Lives Matter, or hey,
Yeah,
like
that's another
Palestine,
very,
like,
very good point you've raised. Pray for Brussels, pray for... Obviously, of course, horrible things have happened, but a lot of the people are just like, this will get views, this will get
100%.
likes, this will get... Maybe that make that black
100
screen or something? What was that from
I'm so,
BLM? Yeah.
I'm so torn because one part of me, it's like,
People are getting recognition.
exactly, even if they mean whatever, get likes or get
At least
like
it's getting
social
out.
like
Yeah.
points of like, they're so
Clout.
good people.
That's the word nowadays.
Yeah, but like even if that's their whatever they want to do, at least it's getting out there and
Yeah.
people are understanding what is happening to Palestine.
Which is why
you
social
know-
media is good in that aspect.
Yeah, so I think I'm torn because then it is that part where I'm like, if you want to do something, do something. Like,
yeah.
okay, you made a post, that's amazing, but now take action, do something. But it stops there. And I think social media allows for it to
Of
stop
course.
there.
And
It's
I
just
think
like,
that's why TikTok is
you've done
really
your
bad
job.
as well.
mm,
And that whole fascination with it, and where I don't get why people are so... I get why they're really into it, because it's 6 seconds of... And so you could go, I don't know how TikTok works, but it's like a feed. So, is there like political stuff that comes up? Like pray for Palestine?
It's your
kind of thing?
algorithm. And the
Right,
TikTok
so-
algorithm, we'll talk about that
So
later,
it might
but-
come up, like, so it could be like
Yeah.
a 6-second video of horrible things are happening in Egypt. Next video, there's a cute little baby, right? So I don't blame, like I said before, I don't blame the people living in that environment because they're just like cheese to the mice, go find it. It's people who are controlling the algorithm and all the other things. You can, like you said, they can choose what to put out. Channel 9,
for sure.
all the big, and they know what's going to get more views. So they,
for sure. Well, the algorithm, there's so many things we can branch off to.
yeah.
Because
So I couldn't answer your question.
the
What was your
algorithm.
question?
Oh, well, it was more like, how do you feel about the kind of social media activism?
Oh, the activism. Yeah.
Like,
it really, it's a lot of it's disingenuous, isn't it?
it's 100% disingenuous, but is it still a good thing that at least there's...
At least there's some word. Thing is, it's like the horse to the water, right? You can get them there. They choose to drink or splash it around. It's up to them, right? The issue is, it really depends on... It's tough because there's a lot of issues are happening. People, like a lot of celebrities post about, hey, this is happening, this is horrible. A lot of them, people might be like, oh, this is horrible. Dislike, dislike,
But see,
dislike. Some of them might be like, oh, I'm actually going to click into it and read
celebrities,
this.
I can at least understand because they have such a wide audience. Like if they do Black Lives
Anything.
Matter,
Yeah.
it has that reach and it has it. But then if bloody Bethany with the yoga studio posts about save Palestine, amazing for your 200, 500 followers.
But don't have a go at her, mate. We got 6.
No, but your followers, that's great.
Yeah.
But then that's it. And then a week later, we're posting about our brunches. We don't care
Well-
anymore, and that's it. And it's like, well, you didn't have to post that because you obviously don't care. It's okay.
What do
if
you want her to do? Put it every day?
No, but I'm saying don't put it if you don't believe it and you're not doing some sort of action towards it.
But this is the thing, and this is why you mentioned social media and work, right? You do what's trending. So if I've worked at places where it's like, oh hey, this Friday is some sort of awareness day. Let's talk about it. Let's get a nice post out there. It'll do real well. And when you're doing it, you're like, yeah, of course. And then you're like, oh, it'll get really good. So the Monday you come back and look at the stats and be like, oh, it really peaked at this point. That's a really good thing. And then you move on, right? So if it's like the place, I can say it was a construction company, and we posted about like Women's Health Day or something, and the whole office was just men. So you know what I mean? The boss didn't care. He's like, but I know that it'll probably get some traction because it's trending that day. Hashtag. So that Bethany Palestine thing, she might be like, look, I don't want to grow my business. Well, something just happened today. Something just happened today. I'll post about it. It'll come up because everyone's searching for it. I'll get, and usually how it works is you will get some more traction.
Well,
right?
I guess I wasn't talking about her business page, but her personal page.
Gotcha, yeah.
And it's like, well, like it's great, but
okay,
like,
that's interesting as well.
Kanye's already posted it to his 10 million people. You posting to your 200 isn't too helpful because your circle is probably going to have similar views to you anyway. So how about you do something though? And social media has allowed for it that we can have in action.
Yeah,
exactly. We've done our bit. I've posted my black square for Black Lives Matter, and I'm going to ignore everything that's happened to Indigenous people in this country because I've posted my Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, and this is why I don't think I've ever done anything related to that unless I felt really... I can't remember the last one, but my other one, I know it's like a bit different, but I haven't wished anyone happy birthday on Facebook for years.
No, I've stopped that.
I stopped that ages ago, and I realized why. If I know about them that much and I care about them, I will either call or text.
Yeah,
like with you.
Yeah, personally. Yeah, I
never put it on Facebook. I probably did when I was before. But I remember when my birthday came around, and then I used to get all these messages on Facebook, be like on the wall, and when everyone's like, oh, people, cool people care about me. I'll like. And one day I took the birthday off Facebook, and then it chopped down dramatically. I'm like, oh, you guys don't care at all.
Oh, no.
And then I was like a little bit sad. Then I was like, why should you? You're not actually my real friends. And that's another thing with social media, right? Like the real world, and which is meta thing, taking it back to, which can be really bad, is you could have 4 or 5 friends in your real life. Facebook, you have, what's the average, like 300, 400 people. And then meta, it's like you can see those people, interact with them, you're making new friends, you're branching out more. But in reality, what are you actually doing? Not much. But that's what's scary with meta is that going to become, like I said with that guy posting, hey, this is my actual VR look. What I'm worried about is that is going to become the reality for people. A place to escape, enjoy, which is, if you use it correctly, you can enjoy, of course you can. It's the escape thing I'm worried about, because that's going to affect your real relationships, going to affect your real life.
Yeah, but I mean, escape is in any form. Like, you see a lot of people,
video games,
alcohol, video games, like drugs, like, it is an escape from this capitalistic hell that we're in.
But it feels like this one is just... more such an accepted...
And we haven't even touched on, like, because you touched on it briefly, but we haven't gone into it, like, the power of social media platforms and how much influence that these places have and the people that can... There's so much we can talk about, because I know you're a big proponent of, freedom of speech. And,
stand-up comedy, it's the only place left.
And people can say what they want on social media, but...
you can't.
To a certain extent.
No, you can't. That's the thing. You can't say what you want.
To a certain extent. So what if it's profitable, you can.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, what if someone posted that black square and someone's like, what if you were like, hey, do you actually care about this? As a genuine question, every one of their followers will go at you. You fucking piece of shit. How dare you? She loves this place.
Sure.
So you can't post what you want. Unless you're happy just to be like what I said. I posted it. Now I'm going to close this fake world.
To a certain extent, but there's still communities online that are thriving in terms of, neo-Nazis, in terms of white supremacists, in terms of, and
that's how they recruit people.
They're being allowed through social media. So it's not necessarily, because no one's going to go out and say, bloody, like, Indian dogs filming next to the car. No one's going to say that, but it's through that community and through that connection of like-minded people, saying what they can say, but, back when it was just white, or, you know, whatever they can
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
it allows for this kind of hate to fester, and you know, and because Mark is only caring about profits, hence the meta.
Yeah, he's
he
a businessman.
allows certain things, and it's
Yeah,
we've
he doesn't
seen it in
care.
the election for Trump and everything else
Yeah,
that we're just we've gotten to the point where
it's snowballed.
it's like a mini world and a government where then
it is, and that's what's really worrying. Like, it's mini world, and it might eventually become the real world. And at some points, it actually is.
There's I don't know how you want to edit this, but I think at some point, if you want to also like maybe put a screen grab of Borat, the real actor Sacha Baron Cohen,
left field.
He in 2019 gave a speech on Facebook, which now with Meta coming out, I think it's really interesting to like hear his thoughts. But he kind of describes the dangerous place it is in terms of racism and, you know, the kind of spread that it can have.
Of course. It's so powerful.
Like, I had a little snippet that I kind of copied that I was going to say, but since we're already at 26 minutes, I'm not eloquent enough.
Gotcha. I
think, you know,
I can find the video.
Yeah, to link that clip, because it's absolutely
Speaking of,
he's really described it very well.
That another documentary I would recommend you and other people if you haven't watched it already. It's on Netflix, Social Dilemma.
I've been recommended that a few times. I have been recommended a few times.
It is scary how much I'm going to laugh now given the Meta announcement. So, I won't say anything about it. Watch The Social Dilemma. Ever since watching that documentary, I only have one notification or two notifications on my phone now.
Right.
Because of how powerful your phone.
Right. Is it more about like the ads and tracking and everything else?
Yeah, it's about how they can literally create a life for you.
Right.
It's a good documentary / movie, so there's acting in it as well. So you'll enjoy it. But it is scary at the time, and even scarier, maybe laughable now, given what Meta have come up with. But
anyway,
that went by so quick. I didn't even realize we were at 20.
Well, there's so many things we can talk about. We just
we
bounce off, and like we're kind of the past few times.
What we could do, and it's a good time to announce it, is we are starting a website. So places that we can't go on for longer than 28-30 minutes, we will write stuff about and post it there.
And, you know,
there is already one up there, written by one of us. You can probably guess who it was, if you know us well enough. I will link it when it's launched down eventually. Or I'll do a post about it or something.
And that's another take, I guess.
Another great take.
Another great take of a very broad topic that we've been kind of doing lately.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Getting away from the brownness and more, I guess.
Yeah, anything. It's literally anything.
The rainbow.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. I like that.
Well,
all right.
That's another take. That's been Amay, Sanket, Namaste, Pararaste.
See you later.